Hi everyone, welcome to the video. I'm talking today about C2E2, the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. It is probably the premier Comic-Con for the Chicagoland area since it hit the scene back in 2010. I've been attending C2E2 on and off since 2012. I like it. It is a lot of fun, and I'm ready to go back again this year. With C2E2 coming up and it being a fairly popular show, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at this convention and provide some tips for newcomers. The tips here are specific for C2E2, but it can be applied to other mid to larger size conventions. C2E2 isn't a San Diego sized convention, but it is getting pretty big year after year. Part 1. Planning. Getting tickets can be fairly easy through either the C2E2 website or through various comic book stores. It is advisable to buy your tickets in advance. The last year or so, the C2E2 website has been reporting that they've been selling out of 3-day passes. Whether this is true or not, it is very good to get your tickets early on. It should be noted that prices have gone up each year. The early bird price for this year, 2026, was the final price for last year. It's about $150 for a 3-day pass. It used to be $50 back in 2012 when I first started going. Things have changed over the years, haven't they? If you are a retailer, artist, librarian, or education professional, you may qualify for professional registration, in which you can get a free or extremely reduced price ticket. Take advantage of it if you qualify, but be aware that professional registration closes about a month before the convention. A 3-day pass this year was $40. Be sure to check the schedule of events and decide what panels and celebrities and writers artists you want to see. Have some sort of loose schedule which will help you out tremendously when you're organizing your time at C2E2. The panel schedule is usually released about 3 to 4 weeks before the actual event. There is a C2E2 app you can use in which you can select which panels you want to attend, and you can make your own schedule. It makes it convenient to keep track of what you want to do. I personally like having it written down on paper and taking that with me. I don't know, maybe I'm a boomer in millennial clothing, so what do I know? Decide how much money you want to spend. It is very easy to get carried away with all the stuff that there is to purchase. Create a budget and stick to it. It might be worth taking the day off after the convention. That way it gives you a day to rest and recuperate, and also an opportunity to look at all the stuff and junk you just bought. Another thing, these conventions are a breeding ground for germs, which is why I like to, about a month before the convention, start adding these immune support packets to my water so I can help supercharge my immune system. I don't know if they actually work, how well they actually work, but I like doing it and I feel like it helps me out. Also, make sure you have plenty of hand sanitizer to go around when you're there at the actual convention. Part 2, where to stay. It is Chicago. There are plenty of hotels and several that are connected to the convention. I've never had to book a hotel because I live in the area, but I do know that they can get pretty pricey. After all, this is Chicago. The earlier you book a hotel, the better. C2E2 does have a block of hotels they arrange deals with. Check the C2E2 website and book a room early. However, if you want to save some cash, you can always get a hotel room in the suburbs. It is a little bit further out, but there are relatively inexpensive modes of transportation from getting you to the burbs down to McCormick Place in the city. If you know people in the area, try crashing with them. And if you know other people that are friends of yours that are going to the convention with you, maybe you could book a room together and save some money that way. Point is, there are options out there. Part 3, right before. Make sure you get cash from a local bank branch or ATM. It's easier to have cash on you as opposed to using your credit cards, and some booths may not accept it. Also, you could avoid any lines at the ATMs in McCormick Place. As mentioned above in planning, make sure you check out the schedule events and the Artist Alley locations. The convention floor might be confusing at first, but if you have an idea of where things are, it'll be much easier to navigate. Make a list of the panels and people you want to see. I know it might seem like I'm being obsessive compulsive about this, but it does make things easier if you're wanting to do things at the convention and check things out. Also worth considering is making a list of the stuff that you want to purchase. If there's some Superman crossover storyline that you want all the issues for, write them down, the issue number, to help keep track. This will make it a lot easier when you're searching for stuff to see what you have and what you might still need. Part 4, Transportation. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but C2E2 is held at McCormick Place, a convention center down in the city. McCormick Place has 3 parking lots. They range in price from $18 to $40. Lot B would likely be the best bet as it is the cheapest and within a short walking distance to the south building where the convention is usually held. Please note, if you go to any of the parking lots and you're using a GPS to get there, do not put in the address of McCormick Place. It will take you to the front door of the convention center where there's no realistic parking. Instead, find the addresses of the parking lot you want so it takes you right there. Another option is public transportation. The Chicago Transit Authority has trains and buses that are relatively inexpensive and reliable. If you're coming in from an outlying area, the Metro trains that take you into Ogilvy Transportation Center or Union Station are other solid choices. Check online schedules to plan accordingly. There is also some Metro lines that go straight into McCormick Place. Again, check the Metro website for the schedule and operational hours. C2E2 used to have a shuttle transportation service that took you from the McCormick Place Convention Center to various hotels and stops around the city. Unfortunately, they stopped doing that a few years ago, so that option is no longer available. C2E2 also teamed up with Spot Hero, where you can reserve a parking spot for up to 50% off. This could be great if you're coming in from out of town and staying in the city. And finally, depending on where you're coming from, Lyft and Uber are always options, as well as taxi cabs for you to travel through the city. Part 5, Packing. Number 1, comfortable shoes. And don't get a brand new pair of shoes that haven't been broken into. Something that you've been wearing. Trust me, you're walking around a lot, your feet will thank you. Wear something comfortable, like a t-shirt and jeans, maybe having your favorite superhero on it. I've usually found McCormick Place to be a little bit chilly, so you might want to wear a hoodie or have one available. I don't think you need a jacket. It might get a little bit too warm for that. There is a coat check, but then that's just something else you have to deal with. So you could probably do without the jacket. Now, if you're cosplaying, all that goes straight out the window. Your fate is in your own hands at that point in time. Make sure you bring a backpack. You can bring them in. You can put your stuff that you're getting in the bag. Sometimes they have bags available there at McCormick, but sometimes they don't, or they get taken quickly. It's a roll of the dice, but you can just bring your own bag that you like. That should work out fine. Make sure you bring extra batteries for any cameras you have, if you bring one. It'll probably depend on how many pictures you plan to take, how well the charger works. But also make sure you bring a cell phone charger or a battery pack for your cell phone, just in case the battery power gets drained. In a convention hall like McCormick, this can be a strong possibility. Part 6, at C2E2. When you get to C2E2, you will need to go through a security check, which has usually been located in the north building for the past few years. It's pretty easy to go through. They kind of sort of look in your bag, and that's about it. Then you go through the entire north building to get back to the lobby and into the show floor and panels. It really isn't that long of a walk, a minor inconvenience more than anything else. If you happen to leave the show area, for whatever reason, you will need to go back through the security checkpoint. I know it sounds annoying, but they've been streamlining this over the past few years, and at the end of the day, it really isn't that bad. You don't need to go through the security checkpoint if you want to go up to the panels or back down to the convention floor. That's all in the same area, just if you leave where the convention is generally being held at. Friday in the past has been the lower attended day. Crowds still tend to be there, but it'll be nothing like Saturday. Saturday will be insane, so just be aware there will be a lot of people there, and it can be overwhelming. I will say this though, the convention floor has evolved over time. I feel there are more open spaces for you to sit down, relax, and recharge if you want to get away from the crowds, which I think is a very good thing that they have. Set your phone to vibrate. You will not hear the ring. You just won't. Chances are, if you're like me, you won't even feel the phone vibrate. If you're expecting a call, check it every once in a while. If you're there with friends, just send texts to each other. Watches are your friends. It makes finding the non-existent clock on the wall much, much easier, especially if you're keeping track of different panels you want to attend to or different times a celebrity's autographing something, depending on what your schedule is. A big thing, plan. If there's something you want, such as an exclusive, or you want to see a popular writer, artist in the artist alley, know where they are and try to get there fast before something sells out or a line gets too big. This is especially important when it comes to panels, and we're going to talk more about that here in a little bit. Be nice to the C2E2 crew members, the volunteers, and staff. Most are very friendly, and they're just trying to help the show flow smoothly. Don't get in their faces for something that you don't like. They likely have no control over it. If you go to see a special guest at C2E2 and there's someone at the end of the line that says, holding a sign that's saying, I'm the last person in line, do not get too discouraged. While yes, they won't let anyone new in the line, check back in a little bit. It's possible that if the line moves faster than expected, they might open it back up. While it's not a guarantee, don't lose faith right away. Don't be a jerk to the people in Artist Alley. If there's an artist or a writer, comic book writer that's there that you don't like, don't go up to them and cause problems. That's not what anyone is here for. Be respectful to them and your fellow congoers. Just be respectful in general. Please shower and brush your teeth. Your fellow congoers will thank you. Even though Saturday is the biggest day, it is also the biggest day when it comes for cosplayers. So get your cameras ready if you're into taking pictures. If you see a cosplayer you want to take a picture of, be respectful and polite and ask them. If they say no thank you, then respect their decision and politely let them be. Now, if you are a cosplayer and you're wearing a cool costume, be prepared for people to ask to have you take pictures. And try not to get too annoyed if people are asking you a lot. Again, you can always politely decline. Sunday tends to be a little quieter. It is dedicated to be more of a family day, so you will see more kids around on Sundays. Know where the bathrooms are. This can save your life. Over the past few years, C2E2 has instituted gender-neutral bathrooms, which is not only forward-thinking, but incredibly convenient. The bathrooms on the show floor are typically on the bottom level, where you can get access to relatively easy. Part 7, events and panels. Okay, here's the thing. Give yourself enough time when it comes to going to see a panel. Some of these will fill up, especially those that are more popular, which are usually on what's known as the main stage, the big room for the big guests. For those, you want to give yourself 60 to 90 minutes to get there so you can get in line. And even then, I might be underestimating it. I know this might sound extreme, but I've been there times in the past where I've missed a popular panel because I did not get there early enough and the panel room filled up. If you think a panel will be popular, again, usually the ones on the main stage, then plan to get there at least an hour before it's stated to begin, perhaps even earlier. And once a panel is full, it is full. They will not let anyone else in. C2E2 has not gotten to the levels of San Diego Comic-Con, so there's a good chance you'll be able to see multiple panels in a day, between some larger ones and smaller ones. It's just a matter of planning accordingly. If you can, don't try to save seats, especially for the bigger panels. If they ask you not to, don't get angry about it and just be understanding. That being said, you might be able to save 1 or 2 seats depending on if you're coming with someone, but if you're asked to not to do that, then that's the rule. When it comes to the panel rooms, especially on the main stage, C2E2 might ask you to leave at the end of the panel. So you have to vacate the room, so you just can't stay there the entire day. The only ones that are allowed to do that are those who get the VIP tickets, and they have their own special section. I believe they're allowed to stay. This rule has changed over time, so I'm not sure what it will be this year or for future years. Just check out what the policy is. They usually have it posted so you know what they'll be asking for. When you're at a panel, a couple of rules and you're wanting to ask questions. 1, don't be rude. Don't start a back and forth conversation with the person. Don't shower them with praise. Just ask the damn question. I don't know if that's just a personal quirk of mine, but sometimes people go a little crazy. Just get there, ask your question, and if the celebrity is asking more things from that, then that's how that will be. Be aware there are a lot of things going on at C2E2 beyond just the panels. There are video game tournaments, card game tournaments like Magic the Gathering, and as something my nieces, who have really gotten into when it comes to C2E2, is they have had a ongoing LARPing tournament that goes all day. Seriously, if you decide to go for the LARPing and you face my nieces, you will lose given how competitive and intense they get with that game. So just a heads up on that. Point is, there's lots of things going on. Check it out. I don't have time to list everything they got. Be aware there's also a family area for activities and crafts that are geared towards younger kids. So that's something you might want to check out if you're going there with your family. Be aware there are events in the evening after the main floor closes. Some of these are geared for 18 plus, but they can be a little bit fun if a little bit off the beaten track. So be aware of those. Part 8, food. McCormick Place has food courts in each of their buildings, but be aware they are expensive. They used to have a couple of fast food places, but I don't know if they're open during the show anymore. They're at the bottom level of the north and south buildings, and they are higher in price than average. Bring snacks when you come to the convention. I always recommend bringing like a non-sticky snack like Cheerios or something that you can munch on, and hands won't get sticky when you're looking at all the stuff. But still, bring a napkin. They do allow you to bring food in, like water bottles and outside food. You could bring in like a Subway sandwich or Jimmy John's. Those store pretty well if you don't want to buy the food at McCormick. The last couple of years, my wife and I have brought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that kind of worked well for us. They do have a bunch of food vendors there that have pizza and hot dogs and things like that, but be aware they are pricey, so know what you're getting yourself into with that. Bring a water bottle. Not only will this provide much needed hydration, but it's easily refillable at any time during the day. And if you need Starbucks, there are plenty around McCormick Place. Part 9, resting and recharging. You will go nutty if you do not take a load off throughout the day. Find a nice spot to rest your legs every so often. The last few years, the convention has been held in the South Building, where the food court is on a second level above the convention floor. Not only is this a good place to sit, but it gives you a cool lookout over everything on the show floor. Be sure to check the C2E2 website as well as the app for any updates regarding various panels and guests and other things around the convention. In addition, there are maps of the convention floor usually posted on the website and app. This can be very handy when it comes to knowing where everything is located. And now for some concluding notes. These are just some of the things to consider when going to C2E2 or a similar type of convention. Not everything will apply to you, and I'm just scratching the surface. If you made it this far in the video, thanks! Be sure to give me one of those likes that people on YouTube are always begging for. But please, also feel free to give your own thoughts and suggestions down in the comments below. The great thing about these conventions are people coming together and sharing ideas. I'd like to give a shout out to Kelson Vibber, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, from speedforce.org, which is a DC Comics Flash fan website. He previously wrote a Tips for Comic-Con article detailing how to survive the San Diego Comic-Con way back in 2008-2009. His article inspired me to write a similar one for C2E2 that I did about 10 plus years ago, which has now evolved into this video. At the time, he graciously allowed me to use a similar format to his article when putting together stuff for my notes. I hope this video has been helpful. If you are going to C2E2, the most important thing you need to know is have fun. That's really what it's all about. Hey, maybe I'll even see you there. So, thank you for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a great day.